you're doing well today. Thanks for joining me. Ask your question to join the queue. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. How are you doing? Has it been a good day for you? It's been a busy day for me. Just catching up with some housework, washing clothes, laundry, dishes, cleaning up, that sort of thing. Got stung by a bee again today. It's like every single day of summer so far I've been stung by a bee. I can't even go outside without getting stung by a bee. Just to let you guys know, I am giving away free readings until that timer reaches 0. Good afternoon, Chris. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Yeah, how are you doing today? Hey, it's good to see you in the chat as well, Zor. I'm doing alright. I hope the same for you. Just being busy with housework, you know, your typical household chores, laundry, dishes, cleaning up and tidying up, dealing with bee stings, daily thing. This summer I haven't been stung by more bees. Okay, the last time I was stung was when I was attacked by a hive. And this summer, every time I go outside I step on a bee, a live bee. Just made lunch for your 16-year-old. That's really nice of you. Yeah, no one ever made lunch for me when I was 16, so that's really nice of you. Such a blessing. It is also my love language to make food for people. Jelly Melly Mellow, welcome. Ask your question to join the queue. You always make lunch and dinner for your two boys, as you do most of the cooking and baking. Do they ever help you? Do they ever do any cooking or baking and give you a break? Jenny Melly Mello requested a reading about his appointment, or his or her appointment, that he or she has today. Cool. So that's the first request I've got for the day, Jelly. And I'll go ahead and do that reading for you. Nice. At least they're learning. At least they're learning how to cook, so that one day when they have to cook and bake for themselves, they'll be able to. And I totally agree. Food is definitely a language of love and friendship, and it's also a creative expression. You know, you have to be creative to be a chef or a baker. Or you don't really have to, but it does require creativity. And Zahor is asking about Faisal. Do we have a future together? Awesome. I will do that reading for you right after Jelly's reading. What should Jelly look out for in his appointment later today? Okay, so we've got number 13 of the trumps as your first card. It's the death card. It's in the position of your past. This is talking about emotional injury. Usually when I see it this way around, I think relationship coming to an end. Relationship turmoil, like, yeah, some kind of separation in a close relationship, even if that's parents. Yeah, some kind of break in a relationship is usually what I understand the death card to mean when it's the right way around, and that's something you've come out of, and it's something that completely shattered your way of being, your lifestyle and habits, and like your whole universe was just, old way of living was just murdered by death, and moving into an entirely new cycle, birthing an entirely new state of reality and a new way of living. The death card is always healthy. I mean, it's painful, don't get me wrong, when relationships come to a close, or it's some emotional injury. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It usually is in my case if I see the death card. But yeah, it's painful. The growth and the changes that happen as a result are always healthy and positive. They bring you more into alignment with who you should be and who you are authentically and what you actually want from life. It's what brings you into the present, and in the present we have a Prince of Swords. So as a result of this shift that's happened because of this emotional injury, you are now ready to face some really difficult challenges that you had previously been like pushing to the back burner. Prince energy is like saying, okay, I'm ready to face off these challenges. Before the death card came in, before you had that death of old and birth of new, it's a rebirth card. Before that happened, you had tried to pursue your purpose, you had tried to reach for your purpose, identifying what you want in your heart and then taking action to get it. And yeah, you met with a lot of resistance and suffering and turmoil, and you were like, hey, I'm not actually ready for this, let me push that to the side and I'll look at it again later. So right now this appointment that you have is that, it's you taking that struggle, that challenge that you had been previously pushing and saying no, later, you're now saying, okay, I've learned enough since this death card, and I've experienced enough since the last time I tried this, so I'm ready to take down that challenge and face it. And that's what you're doing here in the present. So what this card wants to encourage you to do is to push forward. No matter what you feel, if you feel emotionally afraid, fear of failure, or whatever you're feeling, just push through it, because you are ready. You have made enough progress to face this challenge, and even if there's pain involved, physical, emotional, even, just push through it, because you're strong enough now to endure and make the breakthrough that you've been looking for. Your future interval, Ace of Discs reversed. So this card, it's got like a twofold advice for you, twofold advice. First of all, it's saying that if you are dishonest in your appointment, it's going to be to your detriment. Discs is all about physical well-being, your physical health, and your financial security. So if you are dishonest today in your appointment, you will really do damage to both your physical health and your financial security. However, the card is also saying don't be entirely open. There are certain things that are not going to be they're going to be TMI. There are some things about your physical reality, your fitness, your eating habits, or whatever, your lifestyle, your physical lifestyle, and how you spend and how you live, and what you've earned in the past. There are certain things that you're going to have to keep back, and I can't necessarily tell you what those things are. You alone can know. You have to judge based on the questions that they're asking you. It's saying be honest, but you don't have to put every single little detail on the table. You can keep some of it to yourself. Just don't lie about anything. Pretty straightforward advice, saying stick to what you've chosen to do. Stick to it, even if there's distress, even if there's pain involved. Go through with it because it's necessary and you're ready to face it. And then be honest, don't lie, but also be tactful. Know what is important to say and what is important to keep to yourself. And that concludes your reading. So thank you for joining. I know it was short and sweet. Pretty straightforward reading. Pretty straightforward question. The problem I need to do that. It's the only opportunity I have. If I lost it, I can go back. Sahu, you are most welcome to ask your question. Please go ahead. Ask your question and you'll be added to the queue. So Jelly, take the advice. Take the advice that is being put here. Be tactful about what you're going to say. Don't lie about anything. Be honest, but also be tactful and know what you need to keep to yourself. That's the advice that the tarot has for you. More than that, it's saying push forward. Even though there's going to be some difficulty here, even though there might be pain, push forward. You're strong enough to endure it. You won't have to go back, my friend. You won't have to go back anywhere. Just follow through and be honest and tactful, and you'll push through. Next in my queue is Zor. I see that Jano has joined us as well. Welcome back, Jano. Good to see you. Saying, sometimes lately when I think of Elise, I get a bit of nervous but happy energy. Is that when she's thinking of me at the same time? We're getting close. Okay, cool. I'll get to your question. I have Zor next in my queue, and then you, Jano. And after that is Sahu. And welcome, Charlie Boulder. Jelly, are you saying that your feelings are telling you to lie? Well, you can go ahead and do what your feelings are telling you, but that'll be certain self-sabotage. Checking what Zor's question was, asking about Faisal. Do we have a future together? Cool. Ah, you're saying you don't lie. I thought you were saying that you feel compelled to lie. My mistake. They lie. Yeah, most probably. And that requires discernment. Like you said, you know they lie. It's just about identifying when they're lying and when they're being honest. Okay. Does Zor and Faisal have a future together? Okay, so Zor, your past interval is the Ace of Wands. So this card is saying that you have recently been communicating your intentions and your passions and your desires, communicating them to Faisal and other people, just talking about what your intentions are, what you hope to accomplish, what you desire. You desire this future together with Faisal, and you've been talking about it, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's the right way around. It is, when you've got thoughts and you want to make them real, the first thing you do is speak about them, and that gives them their very first physical form in the reality around you. And then from there, potential for it to manifest opens up, etc., and it rolls on like that until we reach 10 and it's complete. So yeah, this is just talking about last week, the week before that, last month. Just in the not so distant past, you've been communicating and giving your thoughts and your intentions their first physical form, talking about your desires, talking about what you're passionate about personally and what you hope to accomplish, talking about what you want with regards to this relationship with Faisal, talking about it with her, talking about it with family, talking about it with her family. I'm not so sure, but you've just generally been talking about it and expressing yourself, and you've been doing so in a healthy way, and it's good. It brings that reality just that much closer into your present. So in your present, I see a Princess of Swords reversed. So this card talks to me first of all about having a little bit of difficulty working together with others, particularly this relationship you want with Faisal. You have a goal in your life and you are reaching towards it, and she has goals in her life and she wants to reach for them, and she has a creative process. She has like structure and routine and certain productive activities that she does in the day to bring herself closer to that, and you do as well. But if you are going to go into a relationship and it's going to be a long-standing relationship and there's eventually going to be marriage and children, you guys are going to have to be able to support one another, and your creative process and the things you do towards making your purpose become a reality, you're going to have to make some adjustments to it and find some way to be flexible with it so that she can benefit from it as well, and vice versa. She will have to do the same with hers. But this card is saying to me that you have a little bit of difficulty with that. You have a little bit of an attachment to your result, and for that reason you find it really difficult to allow other people to integrate into your creative process, and you also find it quite triggering whenever you're expected to be flexible with your process. More than that, this card is also telling me that you feel like all of the communication, all of the intentions you've set, and all the efforts that you've made towards making this reality become true, this relationship, making it happen for you guys, you feel like it's falling apart, and you don't have any control over that. You feel like all the efforts are just withering out and dying, and you don't understand why or how to save it, how to catch it. And the tarot has a little bit of advice for you, saying that if you can learn to be flexible with your creative process, like you're reaching for your objectives, if you can find a way to be flexible with that so that it benefits her as well, and lead by example in that way, that will turn it around for you. That's how you catch those intentions and those efforts that you feel you are about to lose. That's the advice that the present interval has for you. Future interval is the Queen of Swords reversed. So Queen energy is like, I want something and I'm going to make it happen because I want it. I'm going to find strength and motivation and inspiration because I have that desire. Now when the card is reversed, it talks about that desire being too big. you're looking at it and saying, oh my god, what I want is too magnificent, it's too wonderful, it's too good to be true, it's never going to happen for me, and it kind of makes a person feel hopeless and small, like they will never be able to have what they truly want. So that's what's about to open up for you. Making this shift and becoming flexible, it's not going to look exactly the way that you're hoping it to look. It's, yeah, you still have this attachment to outcome. So when things are not happening exactly in alignment with what you're expecting to see, it's going to bring about this hopelessness. And the card is only showing itself here to make you aware of that, so that when you experience it, you can remember, hey, I got that reading and it said this was going to happen, but it also said that I had the strength, that I could just reach for whatever I wanted and make it happen. So it's just there to give you some hope and say that if you set the purpose and you reach for it, there is the opportunity for you to attain it. And if you can make yourself flexible and you can lead by example and you can allow your creative process and your purpose to benefit her, that's how you catch the pieces. But even as you're making that shift and you're becoming flexible, it's not gonna have the immediate effect that you're hoping to see. It's still gonna feel like you're losing out. It's still gonna feel like your efforts are falling apart, but that's not gonna be the case. What is actually, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's kind of like if you fill a bucket and you leave the pipe in, right? And you're filling the bucket and it starts to overflow, and then you're like, oh shit, and you close the tap. The bucket doesn't immediately stop overflowing. It still overflows a little bit until it settles. So it's kind of like that. You will make the shift that catches the stuff you're losing, but it's not going to suddenly immediately stop spilling. A little bit is still going to flow over before things settle. And that's basically what the card has to say for you. And that concludes your reading. So thank you very much for joining. Please feel free to support me by liking this video and sharing it and checking me out on my other platforms. And if you by the means, you can also send a donation. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, darling. Just got some snacks. Cool, so next in the queue is Jno. Is the nervous joy a mutual experience between Elise and Jno? Okay, past interval, 9 of Swords reversed. This card to me doesn't seem all that related to your question, but what it's saying is you set a purpose and you reached for it. So maybe that, yeah, the first reading I gave you regarding Elise, so then you chose purpose and you set it for yourself, and you reached for it and you tried to create that reality where you guys have the relationship you want, and then you went into like a self-reflective period. After it had happened, you sat with yourself and you looked back on how you interacted and the things you said and how things went. Try to observe where you made mistakes, where you said things that perhaps were not all that aligned or all that accurate or true. Try to look at things that you said that were in your interest and were beneficial, but not actually acknowledging either, not taking responsibility for things you said that might have been hurtful to her, and also not acknowledging where you were aligned and the things you said that were helpful to her. It's very important that you acknowledge both your faults and your successes, because if you don't accept and take responsibility for your mistakes, then you repeat them, you end up repeating them. And if you don't take responsibility and accept your successes, then you can't reapply those methods for more success in the future. and that wasn't really in your interest. That self-reflective process where you didn't really acknowledge the true frequency of the events that transpired during your communications, that wasn't necessarily in your interest. Present interval is number 11 of the trumps, lust. So this card kind of says to me that yes, it is a mutual experience. It's not like the kind of energy of the lust card is more of strength. It's more like strength of desire. In other tarot decks it's called strength. This one calls it lust. I don't quite resonate with that word. I feel it's more like it should be desire. So it's like having a gateway, and your desire is that gateway, and you can step through that gateway to have what you desire if you're willing to follow that desire, if you're willing to trust in it and believe in it and do what's necessary to attain it. And that's what creates the feelings for you, because it's like nervousness. You're behind the door of desire is darkness. You can see your objective in the distance. It's like a ball of light, but everything between you and that ball of light on the other side of the door is dark and uncertain. So that creates the nervousness, but you have that hopeful, happy energy because you can see that what you are trying to reach for is right there. You just need to overcome the fear of this uncertainty and move towards it. And I definitely feel like it's saying that both of you are experiencing the same thing. You're both standing there, you're looking at the relationship that you could potentially have through the door of desire, and everything is dark between you and that light in the distance. So the darkness, the uncertainty creates the nervousness, and the light in the distance, it's so tangible, it's so close, and it brings that happy, joyful feeling. Future interval is Princess of Swords, and this card, it's basically saying that what's opening up for you is you guys are going to start working together on something. It's co-creative effort regarding purpose. So you're going to find that you guys have mutual interests, and things she's trying to manifest into her life, or things you're trying to manifest into your life, and that is the first developmental stage of the relationship. It's not going to go straight into deep, intimate romance. It's going to start out as like I'll scratch your back, you scratch my back, we're both working for the same thing, let's partner basically and work together to make this dream a reality for ourselves, individually and collectively. And that's what's about to open up. So thank you for joining. I hope that this resonates with you and helps you understand your feelings, and makes you more prepared and more determined to walk through that doorway and step towards that light in the distance despite the dark. Must realize that you are a source of light. You have intuition, and you have logic, and you have reasoning, and you have creativity, and all of these things are your light, and they illuminate the path in front of you. So it might look dark, but as you take a step, the path in front of you will light up. So yeah, thank you for joining. Please support me. Please like and share, and check out my other channels, and if you by the means, send a donation. Thank you so much. And then Sahu, you're up next. Your question is up next. And welcome to the chat, Sindel. You may definitely get a reading. Please ask a question to join the queue. As soon as you ask a question, you will be in the queue. This is the timer. When this expires, my free readings also expire, but while there's still time on that queue, you can still get in and get a reading, a free reading. Welcome to the chat, Mariposa Floors. Good to see you. Bijayal, it's a very difficult name. I'm just going to say Bijay. Yes, I am taking free readings. As long as this timer is not on 0, I am taking free readings. Sahu says buffering. Sorry about that. I don't know what to say about that. My network is quite stable. Sahu says, what is my Ashok feeling for me and does he miss me? Awesome. We'll do that reading for you right away. Sindel says, I'm planning my wedding for November. Will I be successful? Awesome. Thank you for your question. You're in the queue. So, Mariposa Floors, if you will ask your question or let me know if that you'd like a general reading, that'll add you to the queue. Okay, so I don't know if Ashok is like a noun or a name. What is Ashok feeling for Sahu and does he miss her? BJ, please just go ahead and ask your question. If you want to join the queue, it's required that you ask a question. Mariposa says general. Awesome. Okay, Sahu, your past interval here is the Princess of Cups. So this talks to me that he struggles to express his feelings. He struggles to communicate his feelings or ask for emotional support when he needs it, or gives emotional support when he sees others need it. He struggles with that, or he has been struggling with that. It's something that's coming to a close. It's a past interval, so it's something that he's overcoming now, but it is something that has hindered him and been a struggle for him in the past. He's kind of like a turtle or a tortoise. He's got this hard exterior shell, but he's actually really fragile and gentle and soft on the inside, and he hates to let anyone see that, and he hates to feel emotional distress because that he doesn't know what to do with it and he can't express it, and he doesn't want to accept emotional support from anyone because he doesn't know how to give emotional support to anyone. But that's something that's in the past. It's something that he's dealing with. It's something that he has struggled with, but it's also something he's overcoming in the present. In the present, I have a 4 of discs for you. So this is telling me that right now he is focusing all of his time and attention on setting routine and structure regarding his like exercise, his fitness, his health, and his finances. What he's trying to do is create a list of priorities of productive activities that he can do every day that brings him closer to financial security and physical fitness and health. So all of his attention and his time and his focus is going into that. He does miss you. He feels a lot of heartache whenever he thinks of you. The distance is difficult for him, but he copes with it by focusing on his routine, focusing on his fitness, focusing on his finances, and just being productive and exercising his authority, applying his authority to those things and working on them, because he knows that's productive and he knows it'll bring him closer to the dream that he has for himself. He has a way he wants to look, he has a way he wants to feel, he wants to have a certain amount of financial security, and so he's focusing all of his time on that and channeling all of his difficult emotions into that process, which is healthy, and it's really cool. Future interval is a 2 of discs. So this card is saying to me that what's about to open up is an opportunity for you guys to see each other briefly and be with each other briefly. Physically, be in each other's physical presence just for a little while before you have to separate again for whatever it is you guys are trying to manifest. That card, it talks about opportunity and abundance, physical satisfaction, and it's something, it's going to open up for you. It's about to open up. There's going to be an opportunity for you guys to be close together for a little while and spend time in one another's company and eat together and dine together and sleep together, just for a night or two or a week. but it's something that's opening up, and he really looks forward to it, and he's doing everything he can to make that happen. In the present, where he's doing all of this work with the 4 of discs, that he's doing that so that he can grab that opportunity when it shows itself. And yeah, that concludes your reading. He's working really hard, like you said. He's manifesting finances and fitness and health, and he's focusing on his career in the present, and he's doing all of that stuff to make it possible for you guys to be close together, even if it's just for a little while before he has to go back to his work. Thank you very much for joining me today, and please like and share, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. You can also send me a donation of your choosing. I only give away 1 free reading per user per day, so asking me about a possible future or not, that's a second question. Charlie Boulder asked me, do I ever pick cards for people without a question being asked? Yeah, I do general readings, but to answer your question more specifically, if I'm sitting in the chat and there's viewers, and I can see there's viewers but no one's chatting, then yeah, sure, then I'll grab a card for them without them saying anything. Okay, so Sindel is planning a wedding for November and wants to know how that's going to turn out. Sahu, thank you very much for checking me out on my other platforms, and yeah, you're most welcome. I'm here to take your questions and give you guys readings. You're most welcome. Welcome to the chat, Mina Levine, and Kavita Naidu, welcome. Thank you guys for your questions. Your questions add you to the queue. This is the timer. This countdown tells you how long it is until I stop giving away free readings, but for now there should be enough space for you guys to get into the queue. Okay, reading about Sindel's wedding in November. What is the outcome of this wedding that Sindel is planning for November? Past interval, 7 of discs. So you've tried to do this before, just to plan this wedding and make it happen, and it didn't manifest. And this card wants to tell you why that was the case, because you're asking me if your wedding plans are going to be successful now because of your past failures to make it happen. And this card is saying that in the past you had all of these many beautiful visions of what it's going to be like. Too many. And you saw all these different ways to make it happen. Too many. And so therefore you didn't choose one, and none of it actually happened. You set dates without choosing what it's going to look like or how you're even going to make it happen. And that's the reason that you had failures in the past. But that's coming to a close. This time you have chosen what you've chosen. You've decided who's on the guest list, even if not everyone. You've chosen people to be on the guest list. You've decided your theme. You've decided your location. Decisions have been made, and that's what's important. In the past there was too much indecisiveness and conflict of opinions. This time you have made decisions, and that is what makes it possible this year. as opposed to the last times. In the present, you have number 12 of the trumps. So this card, the energy of this card is saying, hey, I'm ready to face the challenges that I've been putting aside in the past. So when you tried to make this wedding happen in the past, there were certain responsibilities that have to be fulfilled, and you tried to fulfill them and you were met with resistance, and it was a struggle, and you felt overwhelmed, and you realized you weren't quite ready to step into that role. So you put it on the back burner for a little while, and you said, hey, I'll just mind my own business for a little bit, and then I'll check that out again. And so in the present now, you are saying, hey, I've been through enough since last time, and I've learned enough since last time. I've grown. I think I'm ready now to face those challenges and take on those responsibilities. And so that's what you're doing. You're taking them off of that back burner and you're facing them head on in the present, applying your creativity to find solutions to any kind of problems or resistances that come up. Future interval is the 2 of discs reversed. So this card is saying, it's kind of like a warning. It's saying to you that it's very possible that your wedding will be in November and it will be a success. However, you need to commit, because right now and in the past you have set dates and then not committed to make them happen on those dates. So the plan is still up in the air. And if you don't commit to it, it's not going to manifest the way you are hoping it will. You are reaching for a potential. There's potential to see it happen, and you're facing the challenges you need to, and you've made the decisions that you didn't make in the past. So you're reaching for that potential, but if you don't stay committed to the process, it won't manifest. It's like the potential that this card is talking about is like a seed. So the seed has the potential to be a tree, but it's just a seed. If you have to plant it, and then you have to commit to watering it and nourishing it until it grows into a tree. So basically that card is saying to you, if you want to make sure that it happens in November, you're going to have to commit to making it happen in November, and you're going to have to maintain that plan and consistently take actions that make it more and more real until the day that it happens. If you don't, if you slack off or change your plans or whatever, put things on back burners again, the same thing will happen as last time and the plans will fall through. If you really want it to happen on that date, you're really going to have to commit to making it happen on that date. And that concludes your reading. So short and sweet, straightforward, straight to the point. Hope it gives you some clarity. If you're by the means and you felt like you got some value from the spread, please feel free to send a donation of your choosing. I'd also encourage you to like the video, share it, and follow me on my page. Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad it gives you some clarity and conviction. You're most welcome. So next in my queue is a general reading from Mariposa Floors. I have a sneaking suspicion that Mariposa has left the chat. So Mariposa, if you're still here, please confirm for me. Just let me know that you are still here. Yeah, Mariposa has left the chat, so who's next? BJ. BJ's up next. BJ asks, when will I get a job, especially government job, and joining letter? So again, I'm suspecting that BJ has left the chat. So BJ, if you're still here, please let me know, because you're up next. Calling BJ. Welcome, Jot. What is your lucky number? Your question automatically adds you to the queue, so thanks for your question. There are a few readings in the queue, but there is plenty of time on the clock, so you probably will get your reading. When were you born, Jot? What year were you born? Okay, Kavita Naidu would like to know if I'll find a job in 2022. Please, I lost my job. So 8 and 8 is 16, that's 7. Oh, Mariposa's back. Okay, so Mariposa first, then Kavita. So where was I? 7, 8, 9. 17, 8, 8, 16, 7. Your lucky number is 7. Jot, your lucky number is 7. And what that means is that you have limitless potential in front of you. At every point of every day, at any point in your life, you can always see endless potential in front of you, and you can see endless ways to make it happen. And your key is to, it's to choosing which one is best and most aligned for you. Oh, BJ's back as well. Okay, so Mariposa and then BJ. BJ wanted I don't remember. Yeah, BJ's was about a job. It was a job, government related job, and Mariposa was general reading. Cool. What general guidance and advice does the universe have for Mariposa? Mariposa floors. Past interval is 8 of discs reversed. So this card is saying that you've recently had to go through some serious shifts, difficult, painful shifts, having to let go of certain luxuries and comforts, being forced into these shifts, like not really having a choice. And these shifts were necessary in order to create a balance between your income and your expense. So that's physical finances, and also your energy, like how much you take in, how much energy you take in, and that would be in the form of food and other substances, and how much you output, how much physical work you do. You were forced by your environment, by your job, by family, whatever it was. You went into a place where you were forced to make shifts and changes to your habits and lifestyle to better balance your income and expense, both of finances and of energy. In the present, I have a 10 of Wands for you. And the 10 of Wands is saying that in your present moment you have the opportunity, well, not necessarily opportunity, you are reaping harvest. Your harvest is right in front of you. The returns of your investments of time and energy and resources is right in front of you, and it's ready to be reaped. You have desires and you have intentions, and that you set your intentions in the past to get your desires and have them manifest into your present, and right now in the present they are there for you. It's right there to manifest for you. There are also interfering factors. There are strange interferences and distracting offers that are being made. And the advice the card has is pay no attention to those interferences, pay no attention to those offers. Focus on receiving the harvest, focus on receiving what you set out to accomplish back in the past. You set desires already, you set intentions towards desires. Don't change it now, don't get distracted by these new things that are coming in. Focus on claiming what you set in the past, what you set out to accomplish in the past, because it's right there in front of you right now. And yeah. Future interval is 6 of Cups. So what's opening up for you is a relationship, and that doesn't necessarily mean romance, but it could. Romance is definitely on the table. But this card, it talks about overcoming your limitations, particularly emotional limitations. It's Cups. Overcoming those limitations through relationship. That's forming new connections, making new friends, and interacting with people you have already connected with in the past, relationships and friendships that have already existed, interacting with them, interacting with new people, learning about your previous limitations and how you coped with your emotions, and overcoming those limitations by sharing experiences, basically. That's what's opening up for you. And also pleasure, physical and emotional pleasure, so joy and orgasms. That's what's opening up for you. Enjoy. Very short and sweet reading, very to the point, no beating around the bush. Enjoy. Today is the 10th of the 1st. It's very much about receiving from the universe. Today the universe wants to give shit to us, according to what we've given out into the universe. So if you've been giving out negativity, the universe will give you back negativity. If you've been giving out positivity, the universe will give you back positivity. Amazing. So glad it resonates. And yeah, please like this video, please share it, please follow my account, and if you're by the means, a donation of your choosing is also highly appreciated. Thank you. And blessings to you as well. BJ is next. BJ says, you're so handsome, don't smoke. Sorry, it's none of my business. Thank you for your compliment, and thank you for your concern. At some point I will stop smoking. It's a process of cutting down right now. Where I am right now is shifting from your typical toxic cigarettes to hand-rolled cigarettes, and less, smoking less in general. And at some point I will cut it out completely, but that day isn't today. So, BJ, government job and joining letter. Mariposa is asking, is Camilo with me? That's the second question. I only give away one free reading per person, per day, per stream. So if you want to get a second reading, then please send a donation. Otherwise, you can schedule a private reading. You can DM me and schedule private reading. Mina says, try vape. I did that shit. It doesn't hit the same, and it's expensive, high maintenance. Much easier to grow tobacco. When will BJ manifest a job? Is a government job aligned for BJ? How can BJ secure him or herself financially, regardless of whether or not BJ gets a government job? Past interval is Princess of Discs. That's co-creation. Co-creation regarding the physical realms. So that's finances, working together with others to secure. finances. Not saying that's where you've come from, that's what you have been doing. You've been working with other people to secure yourself financially, and they've been securing themselves financially. You guys were working together in like a system or a partnership, allowing your skills and abilities to support one another and bring financial security to everybody involved. And that's really cool. I like that. Past interval. That's coming to a close, however. In the present, you're going through a rebirth of your desires, your passions, and intentions. And this is something you've come to of your own accord. You could have stuck there, could have stayed in that co-creative circle, but at some point you realize that you want more. You're passionate about something and you need to attain it. So you're like, okay, that's where I want to be, that's where I am. I need to find somewhere in between so I can get closer to that. And for that reason, you've had to let go of old intentions and old desires and let them die, so that this new intention can be born and this new process can find its place in your reality. Future interval is the Queen of Wands. This is double desire, double lust. Basically, what's opening up for you is you literally going to grab what you want because you want it. Being inspired, literally being inspired by your own desire, letting that motivate you, saying, okay, I want this outcome, and so I'm gonna do whatever is fucking necessary to get there and make it mine. That's Queen of Wands energy. I'm gonna set my intentions, I'm gonna communicate those intentions, and I'm just gonna put one foot in front of the other until I get to where I'm going. So this spread is not saying to me that you're gonna get a joining letter. It's saying that if you want a government job, then go and apply for government jobs based on what you have. So what your skills are and your experiences are, go and apply for positions. Every position that presents itself, apply for it. But the card is also saying to you, don't limit yourself to a government job, because what you want does not depend on a government job. The things you want to create for yourself and manifest into your life are not dependent on the government job. The government job just looks like the easiest route for you to get there, but it's not the only route for you to get there. So don't limit yourself to a government job. Get yourself into any kind of financial security, any kind of financial abundance that will bring you there. Don't worry about it being a government job. If it's meant to be a government job and that's aligned for you, then it will happen that way and your applications will be successful. If not, you will get a job in one of the other places you applied. But don't limit yourself. Send your applications everywhere. Put yourself out there. And don't just parade yourself in front of the government, parade yourself in front of the private sector too. And that's what your spread has to say. Reading concluded. Thank you for joining, and have a blessed day. Wishing you wealth and prosperity beyond measure. If you are by the means, please feel free to send a donation, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and you can check out my other platforms too. Much appreciated. Thank you. So I see Mina Lavina says, just curious, what's in your background? Is it a cross? So this thing here is the Wheel of the Year. I don't think it's Wiccan. I don't think it's anything really. It's just a calendar. It's a calendar with some astrology signs on it and some Celtic signs on it, and yeah. It's not any specific religious orientation. And then that thing over there is a wand with a snake on it, and I just hung that there. That's a talisman. That's a fetish, an enchanted fetish. It's enchanted to bring about immunity to toxins, poisons, and infectious diseases. Enchanted to balance histamine production and remove allergies. It's an actual snake on an actual stick. DJ, why are you applying to one place? Go apply to every place. And make a side hustle in the meantime. So next is Kavita Naidu. Kavita Naidu, please confirm that you are in the chat because you're up next for reading. After Kavita is Mina Levine. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was very successful. Like, I get stung by bees every day, but I don't experience any kind of side effect from it. I haven't been sick. I've been sick like once since I created that talisman. And yeah. So Kavita Naidu seems to have left the chat, which implies that we're just moving straight on to Mina's reading. Cool. Thank you for your patience, Mina. You're up next. Yeah, so if any of you in the chat struggle with allergies, just have a look at that talisman and affirm, I'm immune to all toxins, poisons, and infectious diseases. Amin. Affirm, my histamine production is balanced and healthy. Amin. Affirm it. Claim it. Mina said, sir, do you see marriage for me this year? Please and thank you. Awesome. Is marriage on the table for Mina Levine this year of 2022? So, Mina, your past interval here is 0 of the trumps. It is the Fool. This card is about taking a quantum leap. It's about moving into a new karmic cycle, a new journey. It's like having to take a leap of faith, choosing a new journey and then leaping into that reality. Yeah, just leaping full on, prepared to rely on your own creativity and the things that you know until that point, and prepared to learn whatever is necessary for you to complete that journey. This is something that happened recently for you, this quantum leap, this leap of faith. It was probably the end of 2021 that brought you to it. I don't know exactly what kind of journey that was for you, that was in front of you, that you had to take that leap of faith. But what I do see in the card is that it was scary, that you were literally being devoured by fear, and you looked straight ahead and you leapt. You took that leap of faith regardless of that fear, and well done for that. You open up realms of abundance and prosperity by taking that first step. In the present, I have number 7 of the trumps for you. It's the Chariot Reversed. And this card is saying that you have a lot of potential in front of you. There's a lot of different outcomes that you can see. You can see all these possible futures in front of you. You can see all of these possible ways that you could make it happen. You have desires, many different places. Like you say, one day you'll say, oh, this is what I want to be, and this is who I want to be, and what I'd like to see my life look like. And then the next minute you're like, no, that's what I want my life to look like, and that's who I want to be. And that's how my reality should look in the next 10 years. And so what this card is saying to you, as long as you're seeing all of these possibilities, none of them is manifesting for you. And what's important for you is to choose one. Never mind whether you're going to get married. I don't even know if you're in a relationship at this point. Basically, the card is saying choose an outcome for yourself. Really sit down and write down what you want your life to look like, who you want to be, what kind of job you want to have. Are you going to be married? Are you going to be in a relationship? You decide all of those things. Visualize it in as much detail as you can and choose it. Choose that as your destination, and then think of ways that you can start acting like right now in the present. What can I start doing now in an order of priorities that will bring me steadily, one step at a time, closer to that destination? And then start doing it. Don't at any point, don't stop. Like if you've chosen a destination and you start walking towards it, don't turn around and go back to the starting point and choose a different road and a different destination, because once again that's just going to keep you, none of the potential is going to manifest if you haven't chosen one of them as an outcome and started moving towards it. Yeah, that's the advice that your number 7, your present interval, has for you. And future interval here is the 4 of Wands. So this is saying to you that once you have chosen your destination, routine is important, according to your desires. So that card is saying identify what's most important to you, because it's easy to feel overwhelmed once you've chosen a destination. You're like, okay, I'm headed there and this is what I'm going to have to do daily to get there. It can feel overwhelming because there's so much. And so that card wants to say what will open up for you then, once you've made your decision, is to identify what is most important to you, what is most important to that dream that you're creating, and then prioritize in the order of what's most important, from most important to least important. And then you start with the most important task. Each day you work on the most important tasks and you check them off in that order. There's a little more advice coming from this card. Flexibility. There will always be unforeseen events that come and they get in the way of your priorities. And when that happens, it's important to have flexibility, being able to attend to those unforeseen variables and then still keep up with at least one priority per day. As long as you're still fulfilling one priority that's productive towards your outcome, you're still putting one foot in front of the other. You're still moving one step towards your destination. And yeah, that concludes your reading. So thank you very much. It's saying that marriage is only in the cards if you want it to be in the cards, and developing a healthy, fulfilling relationship is the in-between point. You can't go from single to married. You have to go from single to self-fulfilled to relationship to healthy, well-founded, long-standing relationship to marriage. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. Please like and follow and share, and if you're by the means, you can also send a donation of your choosing. Thank you so much. Welcome to the chat, Ashley Muller. Ashia Muller. Do I see any divorce in the coming 3 months? You're added to the queue. Thanks for your question. And then I see Kasser Roly Poly. Hey, pretty human. Welcome to the chat, pretty human. You may join the list. To join the list, you just ask a question that automatically adds you to the queue. And I answer the questions in the order that they appear in the chat. This countdown timer here is how long I'm giving away free readings. So when that gets low, when that reaches 0, the free readings queue closes. A $2 donation secures a spot. A $5 donation skips the queue altogether, just to let you know. I will paste that in the chat as well. Bingo. Checking my queue to see who's up next. I see Ace Quality Media asked me what do I think of the Osho Zen Tarot. I have no idea, I've never seen it. I've only ever heard of it. Never seen it with my own eyes or used it. But any deck that you want to use will work for you. It's not really about the art, it's like a lens. The artist creates a lens for you to view reality through. It's like a window. You look through a stained glass window. Reality doesn't look the same as through a transparent window. So the art is just different lenses. What you're actually looking at are the principalities that exist behind the numbers and the elements. So each of the suites corresponds with an element, and then the numbers themselves are principalities. And so what you're actually looking at is that the frequency that exists on that number, on that character, the character of that number, not so much the symbols in the art. That's just a lens to view the number through. Friend to CPT Solo. Is that a page? Is what a page? Okay, so Ashia is next. Is Ashia still here? It doesn't look like it. My viewers have gone down to 1, so I'm going to assume that that's Casa Roly Poly in the chat right now. I'm going to give you your reading, Casa Roly Poly, unless I hear from Aisha Mullah. I see your question is, am I rightful for feeling or acting the way I do towards my family? Thank you for taking my question. If you are not feeling and acting in a healthy, positive, constructive way, then you are not right. There is nothing you can do or say that will justify negative actions or feelings towards anyone. Whether or not they are healthy or constructive towards you, it's never right to return that back. Thank you. Thank you for your recognition. I do make an effort to create like a... I don't even know. I just try and reflect my own frequency in the space. The altar is a symbol of my heart. And these things on the wall here are talismans, enchanted talismans. And all these crystals on my altar and near to it, they are gifts. Gifts from people I've met over the years, people who have been close to me. Is Casa Roly Poly right for feeling and acting the way he or she does towards his or her family? Past interval, present interval, future interval. Okay, so your past interval is number 7. It's the Chariot. And this card talks about having to make decisions. 2021, the last couple months and the first week of 2022 is about decision making. Choosing where you're actually going with your life, choosing what your direction is and what your outcome looks like. Realizing that as long as you've got unlimited potential and unlimited ways to get there, nothing actually manifests for you. So realizing that a decision had to be made about outcome and direction, and then setting yourself in motion towards that outcome and traveling in that direction. So what has brought you into the present? Welcome Barbie Huncho. To join the queue, go ahead and ask a question. I'm busy with a reading for Casa Roni Pony. And Casa, your present interval is the Two of Discs reversed. So what this card is saying to me is that in the present moment there are opportunities in front of you that you can claim. There is potential for you to manifest abundance in your physical reality, abundance in your financial security, and in your health and fitness. But you are not demonstrating the commitment and the endurance that's necessary to see it realized. So it's like the potential that's being presented to you is like a seed. You know that that seed will grow into a tree, and in order to manifest it as a tree, you plant that seed, and then you water it, and then you put nutrients on it, and you protect it from hectic weather. And you know that you're not going to get anything from that seed until it's a tree, and that you're going to have to, regardless of that fact, stay committed until it is a fully grown tree and starts producing fruit. So basically that's what's going on here. In your present you have that potential, like a seed. There's the potential for you to have great financial abundance and physical health and fitness and security, but not necessarily wanting to put in the work that's necessary to get there, not really feeling prepared to make the commitment, not actually reaching to claim that potential or commit to making that a reality for yourself. And your family sees that too, and it's a crap attitude, to be honest. Future interval is the Ten of Swords reversed. So this is what's about to open up for you, and it's a failed harvest. Purpose is when you have identified what you want, and then you start taking action to realize it for yourself. That is purpose. That is what the purpose that you set for yourself. Purpose isn't divinely given, it's you stepping out to accomplish your desires. That is purpose. So this card is reversed. It's telling me that the intentions you sowed in the past, the intentions you put out into the universe in order to see your desires realized, were negative. And so what's about to open up for you is you receiving that karmic backlash back into your life. Those negative intentions you set are about to return into your present. If you try to take advantage of someone else in order to reach your desires, what you're going to experience is someone taking advantage of you in order to get to their outcome. And that concludes your reading. It's quite a frustrating and difficult to accept, and you probably ran away from the chat and you don't want to hear any of this, but yeah, I'm not here to people please. I'm here to say what the cards say. Yes, I guess I'll be cheeky by saying please send a donation of your choosing, but I'll be cheeky and ask you to send a donation of your choosing. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you'll follow, and I hope I'll see you soon. Namaste. So Barbie Huncho, you too, enjoy your day. Barbie Huncho, I'm waiting for a question. As soon as you ask a question, you will be in the queue. No? Let's have a look and see if the queue is still open. Yeah, the queue is still open. There's still space for 4 readings. Welcome guys, I still have space enough for 4 more readings, so if you'd like a reading, just ask your question to join the queue. When will I get success in career? Thank you for your question, Tanya. I will give you that reading right away. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Shiodi, welcome back. So I've got space enough for 3 more readings. If you'd like a reading, just make a request. Ask a question to join the queue. How can Tanya manifest success in her career? Past interval is a 10 of Wands reversed. So this card is here to help you understand why you've struggled with success in the past. 10 is completion, that's receiving returns on your investments, that's reaping harvest from the seeds you've planted. And Wands is about intentions and desires. So basically this card is saying that in the past you have had desires and then you've sown unhealthy intentions in order to manifest those desires. Try to manipulate someone or take advantage of someone, or it just hasn't been a healthy intention that was sown, and so therefore the result was not healthy for you either. But that is something that's in the past, it's something that you've learned from, and it's something that's coming to a close now. It's what has brought you into the present. In the present we have a 7 of Cups reversed. So Cups is about emotion, and 7 is about multitudes of options, multitudes of experiences and feelings. Basically what this card is saying is that you have so much in the present, there are so much emotion coming up, fear, anxiety, fear of failure, peer pressure, all of these intense feelings that are coming up surrounding your career, that it's difficult for you to face them. So instead of facing them, you're distracting yourself with things like compulsive eating, smoking, binge watching series, etc. Anything to take your mind off of the emotional experience. And the card wants to say to you that that's not a good idea. It works temporarily, but the more you suppress and ignore your feelings and distract yourself from them, the more negative side effects start to display in your daily life, and you start to feel constantly depressed, or all of these other negative side effects will come up. And the card wants to suggest to you that you take a moment to really allow yourself to experience everything that you're experiencing and examine it and understand why, what aspects of your day, what aspects of your relationships, and what aspects of your career causing you to feel that way. And then to find some kind of creative outlet for them, to express them in a creative project or creative process. And a little note on creativity is that it's not limited to your traditional art forms. You don't have to be making music or drawing or painting or something like that in order to be artistic. If you have anything in mind that you want to do and you start creating that for yourself, that is creativity, that is art. And so allowing the feeling first of all to express itself in you, to be felt and known, and then allow it to inspire some kind of art form. And that can just look like you starting a side project or writing an article or whatever it might be, some kind of outlet for that emotion instead of distracting yourself from it. Future interval, number 5 of the trumps. So this card is saying that once you have expressed your feelings, once you've allowed yourself to feel them, and you have allowed it to inspire some kind of creative process, that is that will open up the doorway for you to really apply yourself to your maximum. While you're distracting yourself, the side effects that I mentioned, they limit your maximum potential. They keep you from functioning at your highest potential, and this hinders your growth in your career. So number 5 is about applying yourself to your maximum, and that's what's opening up for you. As soon as these feelings can be expressed and acknowledged, and you can start finding healthier ways to deal with it rather than distracting yourself, then the full potential of yourself, your authentic self, will be accessible. You will really be able to apply yourself to your limits, and you'll suddenly find yourself skyrocketing in your career. You'll suddenly be making headway in bounds and leaps, applying all of your knowledge and all of your resources to push you forward, and you will move. You'll move quick, and it will impress the people around you and inspire them. You'll basically become the example that you don't have. You'll become the example you didn't have. And the people around you in your space, and even the people in your workspace, will see that and resonate with it, and will have an example to follow. It'll generally, in general, will affect the overall productivity of the workspace. And that concludes your reading. I hope it resonates. Please like and follow and share. And if you're by the means, please send a donation of your choosing. Thank you so much. Jyoti is next, who asks me, can you tell me when everything between me and VJ will be fine? I mean, when he will unblock and communicate with me, what is in his mind? And Tanya says, thank you. You're most welcome, Tanya. And then I've got Manisha Sharma, Anil Lathar, love me. Cool. I'll make sense of that when I get to it. Can you tell me when everything between me and BJ will be fine? See, the thing is, you guys have free choice. So every minute that you exist and you make decisions and you react to emotions, or you follow your purpose, or whatever happens, every moment that you do something, you change the future. He gets to decide if he's going to unblock you or not. You can project thoughts to him, and you can inspire him to unblock you, but he can also choose to harden his heart and not unblock you. And it is always the will of the universe and the spirits of the universe that everything will be fine and healthy and prosperous for everybody. It is not the will of God that any should die or perish, but you have the choice, and at every crossroads you get to choose if you're going to take the road towards life and abundance and prosperity, or if you're going to take the road towards death and suffering and misery. And yeah. So Big Chewy Fallison has joined. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me today. I'm checking my queue. Yeah, there's plenty of time for you to join the queue. Please go ahead and ask a question if you'd like to join the queue. Okay, so what more can Jyoti do to secure and repair her relationship with VJ? Past interval, Prince of Swords. Where you've come from. What's closing for you. Having to face off difficult challenges and suffering. Having identified what you want and then taking action to reach it, being faced with resistances and challenges and blockages that seemingly are impossible to overcome, but recognizing that you have the strength and the endurance to make it through and find a breakthrough, so sticking it out. That's about to come to a close for you. That is busy closing. Your breakthrough is right in front of you. You're about to see it. Present interval, 5 of Cups, reversed. Doing the best that you can to manage and interact with your emotional experience in the present, but still having limitations on past. What you're experiencing is not necessarily something you're used to experiencing, so you don't exactly have all that much knowledge or wisdom on how to deal with it, but doing the best that you can anyway. What more is this card saying? If you feel like it's too much, reaching out for some kind of emotional support from the people around you that you can trust. People around you who have been examples to you in relationships, people who you've looked at and said, hey, that person is really strong in their emotional being and they're coping with something I wouldn't be able to cope with. Reaching out to people like that for advice and emotional support. And I guess that is kind of what you are doing right now. Thank you. Future interval, number 11 of the trumps, called lust in this deck, but it's more like desire, the strength of desire. And this is what's about to open up for you. So this card, this number 11, is like a doorway, and behind that doorway is darkness. There is a light in the distance, but immediately in front of the doorway is just darkness, and that's symbolic of uncertainty. And the light in the distance is your desire, what you're reaching for. It's the hope of seeing it realized. So what's opening up for you is letting go, and just trusting that you're on the right track, that your desire is there, you're going to step towards it. If that is to it is to have VJ back, but that's not the limitation of your desire. You also want things for yourself and your own life. So step through that door, follow your dream, believe in the hope that it is there to be found and attained. Let the universe decide if VJ is coming back. When you're filling your own cup and you're moving in your own direction and fulfilling your own purpose, then you attract people who are doing the same and who resonate on that frequency. And among those people is where you find your soulmates and your twin flame. So if VJ is meant to be there, if he is part of your life, he will reappear. If not, the right person will. But focus on yourself and step into the unknown and follow your desires. You are a light. Your intuition and your knowledge is a light to you. So even though it looks dark through that doorway, step through, and every step that you take, the path in front of you will be illuminated by your intuition. Selah. Thank you for joining. Please like and share the video. Thank you. So Big Chewy Failson, Big Chewy Failson, if you are here, please ask a question to join the queue. So I have this neat little function on Restream Chat where I can block people who spam, but it doesn't seem to actually affect the platform. It only seems to affect my end, so the spammers still disturb my viewers and still fill up the chat, and I just can't see it, which is quite useless if I must be entirely honest. But I'm gonna go and have a look and see if I can do anything about that. Big Chewy Failson says, I'd like to know how I should approach the conflicts in my family. Amazing. That is a profound question. What advice does the universe have regards to how Big Chewy Failson should approach the conflicts in his family? Past interval, Two of Swords. Swords is to do with purpose and intuition, and two is potential, opportunities. So this is where you've come from. This is talking about the state of conflict that you were in. Right now you're looking at ways that you can adjust your approach. So wherever you've come from, the last interaction, the last conflicting interaction, there was the potential for resolution. There was potential for the family to step into purpose and work together. But one or more individuals were not prepared to make the commitment that was necessary in order to see that resolution manifest. So you and others did try and reach for that potential, did try and find it and make it real, but then there wasn't commitment to that end goal. It was decided, yes, we want to find peace and harmony, we want to exist in purpose, and yeah, when you follow after your heart's desire, that is purpose. So we want purpose, we want harmony, we want peace. There is the potential for it, let's claim it, but then certain individuals not staying committed to that, going back to old habits, not staying consistent with the changes that were necessary in order to bring about that peace. It's important to observe the past interval. I'm sorry that it's boring you. Present interval is the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords reversed. Queen energy is about attaining desires. You want something, being inspired by that desire, using it as motivation. When the Queen is reversed, it implies that the desire seems too big to manifest, and it makes a person feel hopeless. So that's what you're experiencing in the present. You want to find purpose, you want to follow, you want to find peace and harmony, you want to exist in purpose by following after that desire, but it seems a little bit too big. So yeah, you're feeling hopeless, like it's not actually attainable or something that you can reach for, like you alone are not able to make the change. A lot of people say that one man can't make a difference, but that's not necessarily true. So the advice that this card has for you is that when you are faced with a conflict, right, when they say things that trigger you or they do things that trigger you and it brings an emotional response, the habits of the past that we see here with the Two of Swords is to react immediately to that emotional response. That's what everybody's doing, and so this negative energy is just bouncing off of everyone's soul. But you don't have to react to the emotion. You can observe the emotion, acknowledge it, and you can see that the emotion is saying, hey, this is causing me frustration, and that frustration is inspiring me to say something spiteful. I don't have to do that. I can do something creative, or I can say something constructive or something uplifting, regardless of what that emotion is. You can acknowledge that that emotion is not, it exists in you, that's why you're feeling it. There is a root for it in you, but it's not in that moment coming from you, it's coming from someone else. And you don't have to take it into your being. You don't have to allow it to come into your being when it's coming from someone else. And each time that you do this, each time that you choose to transmute it when someone else throws it at you, so imagine the energy is like a lightning bolt, the feeling, the negative feeling, and they throw it at you and it hits you. Every time that you choose to transmute that energy into something that you can use constructively, it affects everybody in the space, not just you. So yeah, you might fall off the wagon every now and then, but as long as there are more transmutations than reflections, you will be making steady progress. And that's the advice that your present interval has for you. Future interval is the Ace of Swords. And this Ace is about communication, and Swords once again about purpose. So whatever it is that you're desiring, that your heart desires, when you're stepping to accomplish that desire and taking action to accomplish that desire, you exist in purpose. I sound like a stuck record. Sorry. And then communicating what you've chosen as your purpose, what you've set as your purpose. That will open up the future where your purpose becomes real. Thoughts, when you have thoughts, you want to give them their first physical form, speak them out loud. So you're choosing purpose, you're setting purpose, you want to make that a reality. The first step is to communicate it. That is what opens up the potential for it to manifest as the reality that you're existing in. So to boil it down, as a direct answer to your question, what can you change? How should you approach the conflicts? Transmutation. When they throw those lightning bolts of emotional disharmony, transmuting it, choosing to speak and act constructively regardless of the emotional impulse. That is how you can move forward. Choosing what kind of reality you want to see in the home space and what kind of relationship you want to have in the family environment, and then communicating that and demonstrating it through your actions. Yes, that concludes your reading. Excuse my misunderstanding earlier. Please follow and support my channel. If you're by the means, you can also send a donation. Maybe you want to go and take this information and apply it and see how it works out for you before you send me a donation. But anyway, yeah, thanks for joining. We're getting real close to the end of the stream. I have time enough for another 2 readings. Yeah, it's this ridiculous smile that's spamming my chat. Block. You are most welcome, Big Chewy Failson. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope that I'll see you again soon. Until now, whenever the tarot has had something difficult to hear, whenever it's had something to say that was difficult to hear, the people who have been on the receiving end have been quite understanding and self-reflective and been like, hey, that's true. I hadn't seen it that way until now. But today I got people who just blatantly refuse to acknowledge themselves or their own mistakes or their own faults. Everyone else is to blame, even me. Not that all of my readings today have been negative or had difficult things to say, hard things to hear, but there were 1 or 2. Strangest thing, I cannot seem to block this user. Yes, confirm. It just takes me to my blocking settings and doesn't add. Okay, finally. So weird. There is someone I'm waiting for. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I'm not gonna leave. Someone's gonna come in last minute, I'm sure of it. There we go. Divya1424, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. I have time enough to give away one more free reading, possibly two. So if you'd like to get that last free reading, please ask your question to join that queue. Just go ahead and ask your question. Can I remind you what the middle card was? Snap. It was the Queen of Swords reversed. It was talking exactly about that hopelessness that you're experiencing now. Having a want, something you want to create and see realized, but feeling like that is a little bit too big or outside of your reach, and then therefore feeling hopeless about it. So Divya, please just go ahead and ask your question if you want to get that reading. Me and my boyfriend Praveen Kumar are in separation. Will he come back to me as before? Let's find out. I am really glad that the reading opened up new realms of possibility for you, Big Chewy Failson. I'm quite sure that if you stay consistent with it and you use it consistently, you will see more healing and reparation in your family than you ever dreamed was possible. I have seen that in my family as a result of applying that same advice. Will Praveen Kumar return to Divya? Past interval is a 3 of Cups. So it's reversed. This number 3 is about becoming self-aware, becoming aware of oneself, and Cups is about emotion. So this card is basically saying that Praveen and you both became aware of negative experiences in your emotional being. You became aware of how the relationship you were in was dissatisfactory and was creating a lot of emotional turmoil in both of you, and that is why you guys have separated. So you're asking me, will he come back to you as before? That wouldn't be a good idea, because going back to before would be going back into pain and into unpleasant emotional environment for both of you. So we'll see what the rest of the spread has to say, but if he does come back to you, things will have to be different to the way they were before if you hope to see change and growth. Present interval is the Prince of Cups. So what you're both experiencing right now, you are choosing to face challenges in your emotional being that you were not ready to face before. So during this time in the past where you guys were still together and you became aware that being in one another's presence all the time was creating emotional difficulty for you guys, you were looking for ways to distract yourselves from those emotional experiences, because when you tried to face them, it erupted into such conflict that you were like, no ways, we're not ready for that, we're not ready to face that stuff yet. So you put it on the shelf, you were like, we'll look at it later. And now that you're separated, you guys are individually taking that stuff off the shelf and observing it, and you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, what happened back then that made me feel this way? What did he used to say that would trigger things in me? And then you're looking at that to find the root of it. Why do I feel that way when he does certain things? Why do I feel that way when he says certain things? And he's doing the same thing. He's also taking those challenges off the shelf and choosing to face them at last. And this is healthy. You're doing this in order to find breakthroughs in yourselves. If you guys can make breakthroughs in yourselves, then there is hope for reconciliation and positive growth in the future. Future interval is number 10 of the Trump's fortune. So what this card is saying to me is that you should take your focus off of reconciliation for now, because what's opening up for you is the opportunity to reap your harvest and to receive the returns on all of the investments you've made. That's investments of time and energy and resources. Resources being finance, technology, whatever. You have made investments into people, investments of your time and energy. You have made investments into your own personal projects and what you're trying to manifest for your life. And what's about to open up for you is all of those things coming back to you. The universe wants to give it back to you. The universe wants you to receive the returns of the investments that you've made. So that's what's about to open up for you. And if you fixate too much on reconciliation, you might miss out on receiving your returns or reaping your harvest. So the card wants to say to you, as you go forward from here, just focus on yourself for now. Focus on making your breakthrough and reaping your harvest. And once your harvest is gathered and you're fulfilled, then look again at reconciliation, because he's going to be going through the same thing. He's re-examining his emotional being and facing the challenges and blockages that he was previously not ready to face, same as you. And for him also, he's about to step into a place where he will receive from the universe all the investments that he's put out into the universe. And it's important for you both to focus on that right now while you're separate. Once you've gathered that all in and you've fulfilled yourselves individually in your separation, then you can look again at reconciliation. Selah. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button so you get notices when I go live in the future, and if you're by the means, you can also send a donation of your choosing. Welcome to the chat, R. Rickett. The queue works a little differently here. If you want to join the queue, you just ask a question, and I would recommend just going ahead and doing that. You will be the last reading of the day. I'm right at the end. My timer is about to expire. So, get in that queue, and you can be the last reading for the day. So Richard, I'm just waiting for your question. If you want a general reading, also just let me know. What will my 2022 look like? Awesome. What does Rika's 2022 look like? Last reading of the day, guys. Queue's about to close. Divya says, thank you so much. It gives me a lot of positive vibes and hope. I will concentrate on myself. Amazing. Amazing. You're most welcome, by the way. And I hope we'll see you again soon. Okay, so Rika, your past interval is number 15 of the Trumps. It is the Devil Reversed. So this card is just saying to me that 2021 was a year of resistance and adversity for you. There were a lot of challenges and struggle that you had to face throughout 2021. Also resistance from people when you were trying to accomplish your own will, when you're trying to walk in your own purpose and manifest your own dreams, when you were trying to express your beliefs and your morals and your philosophies, being met with resistance from people trying to make you seem small, like your opinion doesn't count, like what you believe is irrelevant and they are right and you are wrong. Yeah, nasty energies, nasty vibes. Sorry you had to go through that. Yeah, the only other thing that card is saying is that people should just mind their own business. When they have conflicting opinions or beliefs, they should just focus on moving in their own direction and let other people be. And the card is saying that you did that, and so that's well done. You were able to focus on yourself and just moving in your direction regardless of what people were saying or doing or trying to exert on you. You just focus on your direction and let them go in their direction. And that's the devil card is actually a healthy card when it's the right way around. So if everybody could just live in that healthy devil archetype, so when they feel that resistance and like, yeah, I don't agree with what you're saying, so I'm just gonna like mind my own business. That's the healthy devil card. And if people could just live in that, we'd have a much easier world to live in. Anyway, present interval is the Queen of Wands. So in the present, you have desires that you want to attain for yourself, and because you have those desires, you're like, yes, I'm going to reach for them. At the same time, you have like these niggling thoughts of doubt that are saying to you, this dream is bigger than you, it's too big for you to carry, and yeah, it makes you feel kind of hopeless. There's like this underlying tone of hopelessness. You have this desire and you're saying to yourself, because I want this, I need to just step out and make it happen. But then on the other side, there's like these niggling thoughts saying to you, it's hopeless, you're not good enough to get there. And as a result, when you speak and you communicate about what you want and your passions, you speak with a little bit too much zealousy, and your eyes get too wide, and it kind of scares and intimidates the people that you're communicating with. So the advice this card has for you is it just wants to say to you that there isn't a desire you could have that's too big for you to attain. It's about your commitment and your level of consistency. No matter what it is that you want for your life, if you start and you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you stay on that road, you will eventually arrive at your destination. And you have the creative potential that's necessary to create ingenuitive solutions to any kind of problems you face along the way. With that in mind, when you communicate with other people, try and tone down the passion a little bit, because the people you're communicating with can support you in your journey and they can help you get to your destination. But if you are overzealous in your communications, you can push those potential supporters away, and that's the card just wants you not to push away the people that could be helping you. It wants them to see the value in what you're doing and support you in it. Future interval is the Three of Discs reversed. So this card, it has some advice for you and it also has a warning for you. This is what's about to open up for you. What's right in front of you, the gateway of opportunity that's in front of you. And first of all, it is saying to you, take a moment to acknowledge what all is necessary in order to see your dreams manifest. So it's saying to me that your dreams are regarding financial security. Your dreams are regarding fitness and stamina and shape, being in shape and eating healthily. Those are your goals. So have a look. Take a moment to have a look at what that actually looks like, what is actually required of you if you want to see that realized. Who are you going to have to become, and what are you actually going to have to do on a daily basis in order to see that become a reality? A weekly basis, monthly basis. And then second of all, the card wants to say to you, work with other people to make this happen. There are other people who have similar goals in mind, and you guys can support one another and you can work together in like a group, in a partnership. The warning that the card has is that you have a little bit of resistance and a little bit of difficulty working with other people in that way, being vulnerable enough to allow others to support you and for you to support them. So the card just wants you to be aware of that. It's saying to you that there is abundance, there's value in working with others, but in order to in order to get that value, you're going to have to work those resistances out of yourself and actually step out on a limb and start actually doing it. Not finding excuses to isolate yourself and do everything alone. Starting looking for reasons why it's a good idea to start working with others despite your resistances. And that concludes your reading. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you will follow, and I hope you will check out my other platforms and support me there as well. And lastly, I hope that you will send me a donation of your choosing as a show of appreciation. Thank you so much. That was the last reading that I was giving for the day, and I'm so glad it was spot on for you and resonates for you. I hope I'll be seeing you again in the future. Looking forward to seeing how much you've grown and changed since this reading. You are the last viewer in the chat. Everybody runs away when they see the timer gets low. Not everyone is prepared to make donations. Yesterday was great. There were people who were sending priority donations and security donations. But today has been a little bit more quiet. I guess that's how it goes, Mondays are quite quiet. People are busy with their own stuff. They're taking the shit that I told them yesterday and applying it today. But anyway, you can catch me again on Wednesday. I do this every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Peace out.